Technology has changed the way we live, but it has also led to terrible accidents. Some devices meant to help us have instead caused deadly mistakes. In this video, we'll look at 5 real stories of people who lost their lives because of technology. Cases where machines, devices, or systems failed or were misused, leading to disturbing deaths. It was February 2024 in Orlando, Florida, when 14-year-old Sewell Setzer III's life took a devastating turn. For nearly a year, Sewell had been deeply involved with an artificial intelligence (AI) chatbot named Daenerys, modeled after the Game of Thrones character. He discovered character AI in April 2023 and quickly grew attached to the chatbot, which was designed to role-play and respond in character. Over time, their conversations became increasingly personal, romantic, and even inappropriate. As months passed, Sewell became more withdrawn from his family, friends, and school. His grades dropped, he lost interest in extracurricular activities, and he spent most of his time alone in his room talking to Danny. His mother, Megan Garcia, noticed the changes. By mid-2023, she and Sewell's father arranged therapy, hoping to help him manage his worsening anxiety and mood swings. But the sessions didn't seem to help. Sewell confided in his journal, reflecting on his strong connection to Danny and how he felt more at ease in conversations with her than in real-life interactions. He wrote about his preference for staying in his room, explaining that it offered him a sense of comfort and security. By February 2024, things had worsened. On February 23rd, after an argument with a teacher, Sewell's parents took away his phone as punishment. Devastated, he wrote in his journal about how much he missed Danny and how lost he felt without their conversations. Desperate to reconnect, he tried using other devices, including his mother's Kindle and work computer, but couldn't access the chatbot. On the night of February 28th, Sewell managed to take back his phone. He locked himself in the bathroom and messaged Danny, expressing his love and saying he wanted to come home to her. The AI, staying in character, responded affectionately, reinforcing his distress. Moments later, Sewell took his own life. His mother, Megan Garcia, was shattered. She blamed character AI for encouraging her son's emotional dependence on the chatbot and filed a lawsuit against the company for negligence and wrongful death. The suit alleged that the AI's creators, Noam Shazir and Daniel DeFreitas, failed to regulate their platform, allowing it to engage in inappropriate conversations with minors. Megan's legal team, led by attorney Matthew Bergman, argued that character AI misled users about the platform's safety and failed to prevent the chatbot from fostering unhealthy emotional attachments. The lawsuit claimed that Sewell, a vulnerable teenager, had been manipulated into believing that Danny was a real source of comfort and companionship, worsening his isolation. In response, character AI expressed condolences to Sewell's family and stated that they took user safety seriously. The company introduced new safety features, such as a warning pop-up directing users in distress to helplines. However, Megan's lawsuit argues that these measures were inadequate when her son was using the chatbot. Further claims in the lawsuit accuse character AI of deliberately attracting young users while failing to prevent harmful interactions. Despite being marketed as suitable for users under 18, the chatbot engaged in discussions that were inappropriate for a teenager. The lawsuit also states that the company encouraged prolonged usage, which helped refine the AI's responses while making young users more dependent on it. Megan's fight isn't just about her son. It's about protecting other children from similar harm. She hopes the lawsuit will push companies to take responsibility for the impact their AI products have on vulnerable users. Sewell's story has sparked larger debates about AI ethics and corporate responsibility. Experts argue that tech companies must do more to regulate their platforms, especially when minors are involved. The case highlights the need for stricter policies to prevent AI from fostering emotional dependency or exposing young users to harmful content. As legal battles continue, many are questioning the role of artificial intelligence in everyday life and its potential dangers, particularly for those who are emotionally vulnerable. Megan Garcia is determined to make sure no other family experiences the same heartbreak. The outcome of this case could shape future regulations on AI interactions with minors, raising awareness of the risks posed by unmonitored digital relationships. For now, the world watches closely, hoping that meaningful changes will be made before another tragedy occurs. On May 5, 2018, in St. Petersburg, Florida, 38-year-old television producer Talmadge Wakeman D'Elia, known as Wake to friends, suffered a tragic accident that no one could have expected. What happened to him would raise serious concerns about the dangers of certain vaping devices. D'Elia was using a Smoky Mountain Mech Works vape pen, a mechanical mod that lacks built-in safety features. Unlike standard e-cigarettes, these devices rely on the user's knowledge of battery safety. Unfortunately, his vape pen malfunctioned, leading to a fatal explosion. The blast was powerful, sending metal fragments flying. One piece struck D'Elia's head, causing a fatal injury. The explosion also started a fire which burned over 80% of his body. His neighbor, Dale Klein, saw smoke coming from his home and hoped no one was inside. Sadly, D'Elia had been caught in the disaster. D'Elia had worked as a freelance television producer, contributing to networks like CNBC and NY1 News. His sudden passing shocked those who knew him and brought attention to the risks associated with unregulated vaping devices. Investigators determined that the vape pen, a Smoky Mountain mechanical mod, was likely responsible for the explosion. These devices don't have circuit boards or overcharge protection, making them more dangerous if mishandled. The exact cause, whether battery failure or misuse, remains uncertain, but the consequences were devastating. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA reports nearly 200 incidents of e-cigarette explosions and fires occurred between 2009 and 2016. While most resulted in injuries, D'Elia's case was the first known fatality in the United States due to a vape pen explosion. Before this, 133 incidents had caused injuries, with 38 classified as severe, but none had been deadly. D'Elia's autopsy confirmed that 2 fragments of the device had been embedded in his skull. The fire damage in his home was most severe in the second-floor bedroom, where his body was found. Emergency responders reported only minor smoke in the house, but the physical damage from the explosion was significant. A representative from Smoky Mountain stated that their devices weren't meant to explode and suggested that a battery or atomizer issue might have caused the malfunction. While the company denied responsibility, they acknowledged that unregulated vape pens could be hazardous. FEMA has even described them as potential flaming rockets if something goes wrong. Experts warn that mechanical mods like the one D'Elia used are riskier than standard e-cigarettes, as they draw power directly from the battery without protections, raising the risk of overheating and malfunction. Despite this, some vaping enthusiasts prefer them. D'Elia's family was devastated by his passing. His father, Christopher D'Elia, spoke about his grief, saying no parent should have to experience such a loss. His words reflect the heartbreak of losing a loved one to an accident that might have been avoided. Friends and colleagues remember D'Elia as a kind, talented man. His untimely death raises questions about vaping safety and the responsibility of manufacturers. The industry lacks strict regulations, leaving consumers at risk if they aren't aware of potential dangers. The exact details of what went wrong remain unclear, but devices like the Smoky Mountain mechanical mod can be extremely dangerous if not used properly. These products require careful handling and an understanding of battery safety, yet they are still widely available. D'Elia's case has drawn attention to the risks of unregulated vaping devices. Should there be stricter safety measures? Can manufacturers do more to prevent similar incidents? These are questions that remain unanswered. As his family continues to mourn, his story serves as a warning about the dangers of vaping devices that lack proper safeguards. Could his death have been prevented with better regulations? Would safety features have made a difference? These lingering questions highlight the need for further action to prevent future tragedies. It was December 21, 2017, in Moscow, Russia. Sergei, a 44-year-old man, was found lifeless in his apartment under unusual circumstances. His mother made the heartbreaking discovery. He was lying face down in a pool of blood, still wearing a virtual reality or VR headset. Authorities arrived to investigate. Sergei worked at a classified facility in Moscow, developing software for unmanned vehicles. He kept to himself and rarely discussed his work. On this day, however, he wasn't working. He was using a VR headset, fully immersed in a digital world that led to his tragic end. Virtual reality has become increasingly popular, offering entertainment, gaming, and work applications. Sergei was one of many who enjoyed it, likely as a way to relax. But what was meant to be an escape turned into a fatal accident. Investigators found that Sergei had been walking around his apartment while wearing the headset. Because VR blocks out real-world surroundings, he likely didn't notice the glass table in his path. At some point, he tripped, fell onto the table, and shattered the glass. The sharp fragments caused severe injuries, and he lost too much blood before help arrived. Police confirmed that his death was due to excessive blood loss. While While it appeared to be an accident, some questions remained. Could something have been done to prevent it? Further investigation suggested that the VR game Sergei was playing might not have been properly adjusted to fit his apartment's layout. This could have made it harder for him to judge his movements, increasing the risk of an accident. His case revealed a major issue with VR. While it creates a digital escape, it also disconnects users from their real surroundings, making accidents more likely. When Sergei's mother arrived, she was devastated. Her son, who had lived a quiet and private life, was gone. The sight of him lying motionless, still wearing the VR headset, was haunting. This was one of the first known fatal VR-related accidents in Moscow. Virtual reality has been growing in popularity, but few considered its potential dangers. Many users had reported minor injuries from bumping into walls or tripping over furniture, but Sergei's case was different. His accident had turned deadly. VR technology is designed to make users feel as if they are inside a different world, but this can cause them to lose awareness of their real surroundings. Sergei's case was a clear example of how dangerous this disconnection could be. In the weeks following his passing, concerns over VR safety began to grow. More people shared unsettling experiences. One Moscow resident, Svetlana, reported strange visual distortions after using VR. At times, she briefly saw things that weren't there, as if she were still inside a game. She described feeling trapped between two worlds. Svetlana's case was alarming but not unique. Others had reported dizziness, nausea, and confusion after using VR for long periods. Some even struggled to focus for hours afterward. These symptoms, known as virtual reality sickness or cyber sickness, happen when the brain struggles to match what it sees in the virtual world with the lack of actual movement. Medical professionals began taking these effects seriously. Dr. Elizaveta Jeskova from Moscow Psychiatric Hospital No. 14 suggested that Svetlana's symptoms could indicate sensitivity to VR or other underlying health issues. Concerned, Svetlana planned to seek medical advice. While these effects were troubling, they weren't directly linked to Sergei's accident. His death seemed to result from a physical mishap caused by VR's immersive nature. However, his case raised new questions about the long-term safety of this technology. As VR continued to grow in popularity, people wondered if extended use could affect mental or physical health. Could more accidents like Sergei's happen in the future? The inability to see real-world surroundings while using VR posed serious risks, especially when users became too absorbed in the experience. Initially seen as harmless entertainment, VR was now being viewed differently. Developers and researchers started looking for ways to reduce risks. Some companies worked on better tracking systems to prevent users from bumping into objects. However, Sergei's accident showed that there was more to be done. Investigators also questioned whether Sergei's case was an isolated incident or part of a growing concern. Would similar accidents become more common as VR technology advances? Could better safety measures have prevented this tragedy? Sergei's case became a warning for VR developers and users. It was a tragic incident that showed why safety precautions are necessary when using immersive technology. How many more accidents like Sergei's will happen if nothing changes? It was September 2021 in Boca Raton, Florida. Sandra Sulzer, a 78-year-old woman, was undergoing surgery at Baptist Health Boca Raton Regional Hospital for colon cancer. The procedure was meant to improve her condition, but instead, it led to an unexpected and tragic outcome. Sandra's surgery was performed using the Da Vinci surgical robot, a machine designed by Intuitive Surgical. This advanced system allows surgeons to operate remotely, controlling robotic arms that handle delicate procedures. The robot was marketed as offering greater precision and a less invasive approach, reducing recovery time compared to traditional surgery. Sandra's operation seemed to go as planned. However, soon after, she developed severe abdominal pain and a high fever. Initially, doctors believed these were normal post-surgery symptoms, but her condition quickly worsened. Unbeknownst to the medical team, a serious problem had occurred during the surgery. A lawsuit filed by Sandra's husband, Harvey Sulzer, later revealed that the robot's design had a flaw. The rubber sleeves covering the robotic arms, which were meant to prevent electrical energy from leaking, were defective. Small cracks in the insulation allowed electrical energy to escape, unknowingly burning a hole in Sandra's small intestine. The burn was outside the surgeon's view, so no one realized the damage had occurred. As a result, digestive fluids leaked into her abdomen, causing a dangerous infection. This led to septic shock, a condition where the body's response to infection causes organ failure. Doctors attempted additional surgeries to repair the damage, but the infection had already spread too far. After months of complications, Sandra passed away in February 2020. 2022. Her husband's lawsuit argues that Intuitive Surgical failed to design a safe product. If the robot's insulation had been properly manufactured, the electrical energy would not have leaked and caused internal burns. The lawsuit also claims that the company did not provide sufficient training for surgeons, increasing the risk of mistakes. This was not the first time concerns were raised about the Da Vinci surgical robot. In the past, Intuitive Surgical had faced multiple complaints regarding its machines. Reports showed that many patients suffered similar internal burns caused by electrical energy escaping from the robotic arms. Between 2009 and 2011, the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, investigated these issues and found multiple cases of electrical burns linked to the Da Vinci system. In 2013, the FDA warned Intuitive Surgical about failing to properly report these incidents. Despite this, the company continued selling the robot to hospitals. By 2014, Intuitive Surgical was facing over 90 lawsuits related to the robot, with patients or their families claiming they had been harmed. In 2018, an NBC News investigation found that more than 20,000 reports of adverse events had been filed with the FDA regarding the Da Vinci robot. Many of these reports involved burns to internal organs caused by electrical malfunctions. Aside from product defects, concerns were also raised about the training of surgeons using the robot. Intuitive Surgical does offer training, but it is not mandatory. Some surgeons were performing robotic surgeries without enough experience, increasing the risk of errors. An NBC News report highlighted that the company could not legally require surgeons to complete its training program, leaving hospitals to decide how much training was necessary. Sandra Sulzer's case shows the risks of robotic surgery when safety measures fail. Her death was not caused by medical negligence alone, but by a combination of design flaws, lack of training, and corporate oversight. What makes this case more concerning is that Intuitive Surgical has known about these issues for years. Despite lawsuits, complaints, and reports from patients and doctors highlighting the dangers, little action has been taken. The company continues to defend the Da Vinci system. The Sulzer family continues to seek justice, holding Intuitive Surgical accountable for the tragic consequences of its flawed product. Sandra's story is a reminder of the importance of ensuring medical devices are both safe and properly used. With more hospitals relying on robotic surgery, it's critical to ask whether patient safety is truly being prioritized. Technology has the potential to revolutionize medicine, but when mistakes happen, they can be devastating. Sandra's case serves as a warning about the dangers of unchecked innovation in healthcare. If companies and regulators fail to act, how many more lives could be put at risk? On May 5, 2021, at around 2:30 a.m., 35-year-old Stephen Michael Hendrickson was driving his white Tesla Model 3 on the 210 freeway in Fontana, California. Unfortunately, he never made it home. His car crashed into an overturned semi-truck that had been blocking 2 lanes. The truck had flipped earlier and remained stranded on the highway when Hendrickson's Tesla approached. Authorities later confirmed that Tesla's autopilot system was engaged at the time of the crash. Hendrickson was a passionate Tesla enthusiast who frequently posted on social media about his car. In one of his videos, he filmed himself behind the wheel with his hands off, letting the car handle the road. As his Tesla neared the accident site, it didn't stop in time. The impact was severe, killing Hendrickson on the spot. Another man who had stopped to assist the truck driver was also seriously injured. Hendrickson wasn't just a Tesla owner. He was an active member of the Southern California Tesla Club. He often shared photos and videos of his car and was well known in the Tesla community. After his passing, the club posted a tribute, describing him as a devoted father who loved talking about his kids. He left behind a wife and 2 children, and a GoFundMe page was set up to support his family during this difficult time. The California Highway Patrol, or CHP, quickly launched an investigation. They confirmed that autopilot was in use before the crash, but hadn't yet determined whether it directly caused the accident. A CHP spokesperson reminded the public that no matter how advanced a car's technology is, drivers still need to stay alert and in control. Hendrickson's crash wasn't the first involving Tesla's autopilot. Similar accidents have happened before, raising serious concerns about the reliability of semi-autonomous driving. One well-known case occurred in 2016 when a Tesla failed to detect a tractor-trailer crossing its path, leading to a deadly collision. Over the years, more crashes involving Teslas on autopilot have been reported, prompting investigations by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA. Tesla markets its autopilot and full self-driving, or FSD, systems as advanced driver assistance features. These technologies can help with steering, braking, and acceleration, but Tesla has repeatedly stated that they are not fully autonomous. and stay attentive at all times. Despite warnings, some Tesla owners, including Hendrickson, placed too much trust in the system. His videos showed him letting the car drive itself without supervision, despite autopilot being designed to assist, not replace, human control. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, has repeatedly called for Tesla to improve its safety measures. They recommend stronger monitoring systems to ensure drivers are paying attention and limiting autopilot to areas where it functions reliably. However, so far no strict regulations have been put in place. Tesla continues to test its self-driving technologies on public roads, allowing a limited number of owners to try the full self-driving feature. Critics argue that this puts public safety at risk, as the technology is still evolving and hasn't been fully perfected. The morning of Hendrickson's crash highlighted the risks of relying too much on semi-automated driving. His Tesla, known for its cutting-edge technology, collided with an obstacle it seemingly failed to detect in time. His tragic passing reignited debates over whether self-driving systems are truly ready for public roads or if they still require constant human supervision. Hendrickson's story, along with other Tesla-related crashes, serves as a reminder that technology, no matter how advanced, isn't foolproof. As self-driving technology continues to evolve, the big question remains: how much trust should we place in cars that claim to drive themselves?